The lead up to UFC 274 was a controversial one because Charles Oliveira missed his weight a day before the event. As a result, he was stripped of his title, meaning that when he fought Justin Gaethje, he wouldn't be defending his title, but merely fighting to become a #1 contender for a title that should have been his coming to the match. However, many fans question whether the UFC has double standards because they recall Khabib Nurmagomedov's controversial weigh-in back in October 2020 when he met Justin Gaethje to fight for the UFC lightweight crown. That weigh-in was a comical subversion of standards, and people are now making funny memes about it. During the weigh-in, it was clear that the weights hadn't settled, and yet, even as the scale appeared to be moving upwards, the weigh-in official quickly announced that Khabib had just made weight exactly at 155 pounds. It was very suspicious, and more questions are being asked now that Oliveira lost his title for missing weight. Ariel Helwani tweeted, "Charles wishes he had this guy manning the scale. Look at that speed." A fan replied, "Khabib was overweight. We, his collective fans, knew it. We didn't really care. Oliveira was a tad overweight. The UFC doesn't want him." Some observers are saying that Khabib had Dana White privilege, and that's why the officials were quick to say he was at the correct weight, even though it appeared that he might be overweight. Maybe the fact is that big money fights like Khabib vs Gaethje are given priority to go on with minimum resistance whilst flouting the rules, as the rest are held to a higher standard. Whatever the case, Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje were the top 2 lightweights in the world coming to the match. This match had been a long time coming, and boy was it worth it. The fight was a short and intense bout that ended in the first round. It highlighted just how dangerous it is not to have any ground game and that it pays to be a well-rounded fighter. Oliveira came in with a 10-fight win streak and was looking to make it 11. However, the Brazilian came in having earned the dubious distinction of becoming the first champion in UFC history to lose his title because of missing weight. He managed to weigh in at 155.5 pounds, just half a pound over the required 155-pound weight limit. However, Justin Gaethje, his American opponent, could still claim the title if he won the match. Despite this, Gaethje was understandably not happy that his Brazilian opponent came up short on weight. How someone could lose his title because of missing weight when he had months to prepare was unprofessional, especially when the title was on the line. In the pre-fight face-off, Gaethje told the crowd that shit about missing weight doesn't matter. It's not going to affect one thing tomorrow night. I'm here to knock him out. I was here to knock him out before he didn't make the weight. I fucking think it's ridiculous, but here I am. I'm gonna knock his ass out. I promise you. Oliveira was nonchalant about the setback, offering no excuses. Instead, he confidently said that these things happen. You can't explain God. The champion has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira, and I'm gonna shock the world tomorrow. The UFC 274 match was the second time Gaethje would be trying to claim the UFC title. His first try was in 2020, and he lost that match to the great Khabib Nurmagomedov via submission. Because he missed weight and was stripped of the title, Oliveira was essentially fighting to become the #1 contender for a title that should have been his coming to the match. UFC officials said that if he won against Gaethje, he would compete for the title against a different contender. As for Gaethje, he's one of the most brutal fighters in the sport. He was coming in from a hard-won victory against Michael Chandler, which they fought last November. Their fight was a vicious and bloody 3-round match in which Gaethje won via unanimous decision in a match that was voted the best of the year. Gaethje has been called the most violent man in MMA, known for his vicious brawls that break the spirit of the opposition. He's also a hard hitter, with 19 of his 23 career wins coming from knockouts, but he does have a serious weakness when it comes to his ground game. In fact, once on the ground, he almost ceases to be a threat, and this is where Oliveira gains the edge. Oliveira is a well-rounded fighter with good offensive striking and a lethal grappling style. Unfortunately for Gaethje, his lack of ground game spelled the end for him as he would come undone by Oliveira's wrestling and grappling. It started well for Gaethje. He dropped Oliveira twice in the opening round, first with a right-hand uppercut and second with the left hook. In both instances, Gaethje did not follow up when Oliveira was on the ground because he was wary of the Brazilian's lethal ground game. His unwillingness to follow up on the ground led to his loss. Oliveira got up freely on both instances, and with a combination of boxing, kicks, and flying knees, he brought Gaethje down exactly where he wanted him. With Gaethje on the ground, Oliveira transitioned between an armbar and triangle armbar before finally trapping Gaethje in a rear naked choke that forced the American to tap out to the Brazilian. Conor McGregor said he knew Oliveira would win. He tweeted, "Called it. Even if Gaethje knocked him down, he's too shit to be able to follow him down and do anything substantial. Always Charles's fight." Oliveira taunted McGregor in the post-fight interview, saying, "This is a message to the entire division. I am a problem for the entire division. Look at this team. Look at me. I am the enlightened. That is my title. It should be here. Hey Conor McGregor, are you coming up or are you gonna run away? McGregor gave a mixed response saying, I'm not sure I wish to cut the weight. McGregor wrote, I'm really enjoying being built like a refrigerator. I feel I want to fight at this size just to watch it back, lol. But I love to fight the Brazilian, 100%. I love Brazil and I'm unbeaten against Brazil. All KOs. I have some thinking to do. After failing to gain the title for the second time, Gaethje must have been in low spirits, but he congratulated Oliveira in a tweet. Name of the game. Appreciate all the love. Congrats to Charles. Charles replied saying, thank you for this great fight, Justin. There is a mutual respect between the two fighters. Right now, there's no official UFC lightweight champion. Dana White explained that rules are rules, and that the decision to strip Oliveira is final. The belt is vacant, but I'm sure in the minds of the media and the fight fans, Oliveira is the champion. But technically, he's the #1 contender now. It's up in the air as to who Oliveira will be fighting next for the title, but Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, and Conor McGregor are the potential challengers. However, UFC fighters would not be too pleased if McGregor were to jump the queue. Gaethje has been vocal that he would not stand for preferential treatment in the UFC. He thought McGregor did not deserve a title shot when other better fighters were waiting in the wings. I'll fucking burn it down. That's what I do. McGregor is so irrelevant. He's not won a fight since 2016 in the lightweight division. Khabib Nurmagomedov put forward the name of his protege as a potential contender for the title when he tweeted, Dana White, you have no other choice but to make Oliveira vs Islam fight in Abu Dhabi on October 22nd. Perfect date, perfect location, perfect opponents with perfect winning streaks. 10 versus 11. Why does Islam Makhachev have to do a contender fight if there's no champion in this division? Michael Chandler was not quiet either as he cut an amazing promo after winning his match via a brutal kick that knocked out Tony Ferguson. He stated that he wanted a rematch with Charles. Okay, just watch UFC 274. Congrats to Oliveira, but I will finish you within 2 rounds in a rematch. See you this fall/summer. Who wants to see this unfinished business rematch? But if by chance he does not get the title shot, he'd be more than happy to fight Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, I'm the most entertaining lightweight on the planet. I want you at your baddest and I want you at your best. You and me at 170. Right now, it seems that Islam Makhachev will be facing Oliveira for the title because he tweeted, congrats Charles and see you in Abu Dhabi for the vacant UFC title. Here's some more reactions to the fight. Why is Charles Oliveira still slept on? Absolute GOAT by G2 heel Mike. How do Oliveira fights always go the same way? Are you kidding me? This guy is so freaking talented by Farah Hanoun. Charles Oliveira drops Justin Gaethje, then chokes him out in one of the greatest one-round fights you'll ever see. Extends his record for the most finishes in UFC history by Mike Bone. The performance of a lifetime for Charles Oliveira. Brilliant tactics. When he was hurt, he rolled to his back, and he knew that Gaethje would not threaten takedowns, which gave him license to take risks on the feet. Beautiful by Aaron Bronstetter. Man, he's a monster by Bilal Muhammad. Gaethje gets wobbled in practically every fight. I can't think of one of his fights where he doesn't get clipped. Charles' technique is on point, and he landed clean shots on Justin. He really has to improve defensively if he's ever going to become champ. By Jace Reigns.